Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm doing episode 2 of what I've been watching. So at the beginning of this month I did episode 1, which is talking about stuff I watched in May, and today I'm going to be talking about stuff I watched in June to catch up for July next month. Well, July is technically this month, but my wrap up of stuff I've been watching will be next month. So let's just get into it because there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. The first thing I watched in June was Blood and Water. This is on Netflix and it is a South African TV show. There's only one season out, it came out this year. And it's about this girl who, when she was younger, either when she was really young or before she was born, I think it was before she was born, her older sister was snatched. It was before she was born. Her older sister was snatched in the hospital, and their family has like been obsessing about this, and every year they celebrate her birthday and stuff like that. And then she goes to a party and there's a girl there who she suspects might be said sister, said daughter that got stolen 17 years previously. So it's like a mystery. You're figuring out whether she is the stolen sister, and then the main character gets into loads of mischief. She starts going to a certain school that this other girl's at, and it was a fun time. There was loads of layers to the story. You don't know why it happened, why she was stolen. There's different people that have clearly been doing bad things. A lot of corruption at the top, as is the case most of the time. And the ending was like cliff to the mother frickin' hanger. So I mean, I freaking hope that it gets a second season, because if it doesn't, then what? But yeah, it was just one of those really fun, really easy to watch stories that are set in school, but then there's mystery, and there's people sneaking about, and there's people lying to people, and everyone's doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing to protect other people and to get dirt on other people, and it's all that. There's also a pansexual character who says he's pansexual. And although most of it's in English, there is some Afrikaans, I think, in there thrown in a little bit. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. I think I probably watched it all in one go because that's the sort of person I am with TV shows. Next up, I watched 13 Reasons Why season 4, and I know before you all come for me, loads of people have got a problem with this, but also I'll watch what I want to watch. I accept that if people don't want to watch it, or if they find it uncomfortable or triggering, don't watch it, but I don't, so I will, you know. But here's the thing, although so much of it is pretty bad, pretty terrible, Clay is the main character and he's my least favourite character. I really dislike him. His whole storyline in season 4 was a mess. There was all this mental health stuff going on, and then he was dissociating. He was also seeing a counsellor, but then also they never actually specifically said what was up with him, and it's like they tried to talk about mental health but they didn't, and it was just a bit of a mess. But also the characters I care about: Alex, Charlie, Tyler, Justin and Zach. And first of all, they did Zach dirty. His whole storyline in season 4 was just being drunk, and they kind of ruined his character a little bit, but then also they didn't sort it out at the end. He was just like getting drunk, ignoring his friends, being a bit of a dick to people, and then at the end he was like, oh, alright then, I won't drink anymore. They didn't really do anything there. Justin was also done dirty right at the end. They just did him dirty. Justin had the most character progression out of anybody on that whole show, and like at the end they fucked it for no reason. But it was so annoying because all the way through the season he was just doing really well and trying to be good and getting off the drugs and trying to get into university, and then every single character was like, oh, you're not like you used to be, oh you don't even act like Justin anymore, oh you're gonna eventually fall back into it. And I'm like, how are any of you been, you're not friends, you don't love him, because you're just being a dick to him constantly. He's trying to get his life back together and you're all just being like, oh, you're not even like Justin anymore. What, so he's not acting like a flipping heroin addict, so you don't like him anymore? Bit weird. Tyler, he had sort of a back-going story. It wasn't as focused in the front, but he's pretty decent. I think he's another character that has had quite a lot of progression and quite a lot of an arc, and in here it just kind of progressed and carried on in a similar way. Alex and Charlie, cute and wholesome. First, let's talk about Alex. I'm so glad that when he got in a relationship he didn't all of a sudden become happy and get fixed, because that happens so often in shows, in books, in media. the person's depressed, they get in a relationship, and all of a sudden they're better. But I'm so glad that even when he was with Charlie, he was just like, you could tell he was still depressed, he was still upset about stuff, he still wasn't really, you know, jumping for joy and stuff. He was enjoying himself, he liked the fact that he liked Charlie, but it didn't all of a sudden make him better, and I was so glad that they did that. Like, how can they do that but then also do Clay the way they do Clay? But then again, Clay's terrible, I don't like him, I've never liked him. Moving on to Charlie St. George, who is the most wholesome, lovely, cute, amazing person in any TV show. And it's so unfortunate that it's in 13 Reasons Why, because so many people are missing out on Charlie because they don't want to watch it because it's terrible and shit and problematic and triggering. But, I mean, I beg you to go and find Charlie St. Cloud's storyline on YouTube, because it probably exists, because he's like the most wholesome, cute, lovely person ever. He's just so nice. And I'm so glad that they didn't wreck him, because it would have been so easy for them to just like make him horrible for no reason, because that's the kind of things they do. But he was just wholesome and lovely throughout the whole thing. And he came out as bisexual, and him and Alex got together, and it was just the cutest thing ever. And I support Charlie St. George with my whole life, and I love him. And again, it's so unfortunate what show he's on, because you're all missing out. He's so fucking wholesome. Yes. Next up I watched Pride, which is something that I've been wanting to watch for many, many years. I just never found it. I never got round to finding it. I never got round to finding it. But it's on Amazon Prime, or at least it was. So I was like, finally I can watch it. And it was so motherfucking good. I loved it. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. It taught me so much about the whole mining strike that I didn't know. I didn't know this whole gays and lesbians supporting the miners things existed. I didn't know that the miners union were part of the reason that LGBT people got rights in England, and it was just so good. And Joseph Gilgan's in it, so I don't know why I didn't watch it before, because I love him. And if you haven't seen it, then definitely watch it. It's about a real thing that happened in the 80s. About LGBT people supporting miners because of the miner strike, and yeah, it was just really, really good. Next up I watched Lena Love, which 1000% was because Yannick Schumann was in it. It's so hard to find Yannick Schumann films and TV shows that have English subs, and this one I found, so I was like, I'm gonna watch the fucking shit out of that because I can't find anything. And it's about this teenager who gets bullied online, and her ex-best friend starts being proper mean to her, and they're catfishing her, and it gets really dark. And I love Yannick Schumann. He's like the bad boy, social outcast person because he's new to the school. And I'm like, bitch, how can somebody looking like that not be popular? How can he be the weird kid? I'm sorry, have you seen him? But he's like this artist, this brooding artist that people don't really talk to. And it was a fun time. I didn't expect it to get as dark as it did, but then again, I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know the backstory of like the plot or anything. I was just like, oh my god, I found one with English subs, let's go. But I did very much enjoy it. Oh, Yannick Schumann is German, so this film was in German with English subs. Before we carry on chatting shit about some stuff I watched, here's a little video from one of our sponsors. This is how much he loves anybody that subscribes. Next up, I watched Dating Amber, which was an Amazon original film. This, I think, is set in the 90s, if I'm correct. But it's basically these two characters. One of them is a lesbian, one of them is gay. They both obviously don't want to talk about it because it's in Ireland in the 90s. It's very homophobic. They don't want people at school to know. And they both kind of get bullied a little bit because of people thinking that they're certain sexualities. So then they're like, hey, let's pretend we're going out, and then everyone will leave us alone. And it's kind of just a cute, easy to watch film. It's got the guy that was in Handsome Devil in it. And yeah, if you just want to watch a nice, fun, funny film that's LGBT, give it a go. Next up, I watched New Blood, which is on Netflix. This was a one-season thing. I don't know if they ever carried it on or if it was cancelled or whatever. But it's basically quite a short season. I think there was only about 6 or 7 episodes maybe. And it was about this new detective guy who's got like a 6-month contract to be a detective because he's quite young, and this other guy that's from the fraud unit coming together and solving crimes. And it was really fun. It was funny and it was just interesting. I really just like watching sort of crime, police TV shows because I think they're just really easy to watch if I'm kind of half doing something else or if I'm editing a video. I can watch it in the background. If I'm writing, I can kind of watch it. And this one was actually really fun. Each sort of storyline went into 2 parts. So it was part 1 and 2 of this certain case, and then another part 1 and 2, and then I think the last one was 3 parts. So yeah, that's how many episodes there were. But it was just really fun and English, and people die, but people are also being fraudulent. So they get together and they're being friends, and there's loads of banter between them, and watch it. It was enjoyable. Next, I watched Submergence because Yannick Schumann was in it, and oh my god. I watched an almost 2-hour film because of Yannick Schumann, and he was literally in it for about 20 seconds. He said 2 lines, and it was about 2 minutes into the film, and then I watched the rest of the film, and then he never came back.
They want us on the boat now for a team debriefing.
Can I get in the tank next time?
It's dangerous. Each suit is designed specifically for each astronaut, so...
Thank you, Paul, but you don't have to indulge your every whim.
Thank you, Paul.
Why don't you torture him like that?
So I was kind of salty about that. It was an alright film, but I was like, bitch, I'm here for Yannick Schumann. What? How can Netflix do me that dirty? Just, how can IMDb do me that dirty? He was second in the line of cast members, but obviously for some reason on that film they did it in order of appearance instead of order of who's in the film the most. So, you know, he was second on screen, but he was on screen for a second, you know. But it was also in English, so I've seen him act 2 lines in English now as well as German. So Submergence had, well, it had James McAvoy as the main character, so it wasn't too bad because I like James McAvoy. But it was about this guy and girl. The guy is a spy, the girl is a underwater scientist, submarine type person, and it tells their stories. They meet, and then it tells you what's happening to this person, what's happening to this person. The girl is going underwater in a submarine to do some sort of tests, and then the guy goes to, I can't remember the exact country. I think it was a country in Africa, but I can't remember exactly which one he went to. But he goes to a specific country as a spy, but then he gets captured, and, you know, bad shit happens to him, and is trying to be a spy and not let anybody know what's happening. So, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing, but also Yannick Schumann was in it for about 20 seconds, so I was kind of annoyed. And then last but not least of the watching stuff, I watched a show called One of Us. This was a limited series. It was only 4 episodes long. That's the contained storyline. And it's set in, is it England or is it Wales? It's set in the UK, let's just say. And basically I watched it because I wanted somewhere easy to read. Basically I watched it because I wanted something easy to watch that has like this crime element. But also it had Joe Dempsey in it, who played Chris in Skins, who was one of my favourite characters. So I was like, I'm gonna watch that because Joe Dempsey. And basically what happened is these 2 newlyweds got murdered a few days after their wedding, and the guy that did it gets in a car accident on the farm of the families of these. They live on farms next to each other. Their kids got together, moved away, got married, and the guy ends up crashed in his car on their farm in a storm, and then they see on the news that this is the guy that is potentially the suspect, the wanted person in this murder. So stuff escalates from there, and it's mysteries and lies and family lies and stuff that's happened in the past coming up. And it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. There was loads of little mysteries going on. You didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know what the main thing was that happened until the end. It all came to light, and it was good. Like I say, it's 4 episodes long, so it's really easy, quick one to get through. And like I said, I just like them sort of things. Crime, mystery, that sort of stuff. So yeah. And then last but not least, I like to throw in some new to me YouTubers that I've been watching. If I have been watching them, obviously this might not be a thing that happens every time I do one of these videos. But in June, I started watching Local Black Child. She's just hilarious. Mostly I just watch her storytime videos because they're just like, they're crazy. The way she tells them is just really funny and good. And yeah, there we go. I also started watching Tay Pancakes, who does a lot of, I saw a story time from her as well, where somebody was in her attic, and that was just like a crazy time. But also I like watching her wig hauls from Amazon. She does these wig hauls for like cheap wigs from Amazon, and she's just hilarious again. Recently she did like wish hauls or whatever. It's just fun times, fun personalities. Those are 2 YouTubers that I started watching in June. Let me know down below what you was watching in June, if you've seen any of these, if they sound interesting now you want to check them out. Let me know down below. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, and please check out some of the others. And if you continue to enjoy them, please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.